and let us all do we can to build a better future.
The Hunter Biden scandal, along with his father, Joe Biden, is starting to intensify because now, as I have said before, as Trump is facing legal charges, indictment, and so much more, the Republicans, as expected, I would be surprised if they wouldn't do this, have decided to start investigating Joe Biden. Now, there has been talks about this potentially leading up to an impeachment of Joe Biden, if that's the case. Look, I know my colleague Daniel and myself have said and warned that this was going to happen as the Democrats were intensifying their impeachment witch hunt towards Donald Trump. Now, the thing is, Democrats, I'm not going to tell you what to do. Vote blue no matter who. I don't want to trigger you. But the Democrats really could have gotten Donald Trump if they got him on the emoluments clause. But they wouldn't do that because then it also involves them. And let's face it, Democratic lawmakers, just like Republican lawmakers, are doing insider trading and other nefarious deals that could put them on the chopping block. So they came at Trump with not one, but two ridiculous impeachments. And yes, while everyone's constantly laughing at Trump saying, oh, he's been impeached twice. In order for it to continue on, the Senate is the jury. And the Senate just said no. So, okay. Now it's the Republicans' turn. So I want to pull up this video of Tulsi Gabbard calling out the Biden-Harris administration, as well as all the numerous scandals that are surrounding it. It's more than just the booger sugar in the White House. It has to deal with a lot of nefarious dealings and money scandals and bribery that the Biden administration, Joe Biden and his son, are intertwined with. Hey, Bernie, this is your good friend, Joe Biden, who has scandal after scandal, corruption after corruption flying around him. Was it worth it, Bernie? Was it worth it being a cuck? Well, here's Tulsi Gabbard calling it out. So let's play it for all of you lovely people.
Tulsi joins us right now. Do you believe we have a two-tier justice system?
Sean, it's not a question of belief. The proof and the evidence is there, and we're seeing it play out right before our very eyes, where today's Democrat elite are showing very shamelessly that they have no problem abusing their power. They're making a mockery of the rule of law and undermining our democracy. On the one hand, for example, they're throwing everything with the kitchen sink at Donald Trump, doing all that they can, saying, hey, no one is above the law, trying their hardest to destroy him and make it so the voters don't even have an option. They won't even have the choice to be able to vote for him in this next election. On the other hand, you look at this growing amount of damning, undeniable evidence pointing to Hunter Biden and the president of the United States, corruption, quid pro quo, influence trading. The list goes on and on. Every day it gets worse. And yet, what's the Democrat elite's response? Nancy Pelosi says, oh, this is just a clown show, completely dismissing it, not addressing the very serious implications that are coming about as a result of this. So, you know, the American people are not stupid. They see what is going on right before our very eyes and how dangerous it is for our country.
She's not wrong, and I wanted her to say that entire segment because when we look at Joe Biden, we have to remember way back in 2019, Joe Biden and his son Hunter were called out on the campaign trail. They were called out, and we said that this was going to come back to haunt them. You know, a part of me is laughing. A part of me is also upset that we gave this warning, Daniel and I, and a lot of other people in independent media. A lot of people in independent media said that this was going to happen. Jimmy Dore, the Convo Couch, Heartlands Media, Nico House. We all said that this was going to come back and haunt the Democrats. And maybe if Bernie fought harder, we wouldn't be in this situation. But hey, Bernie Sanders is a cuck. So hey, let's go back in time. Flashback. Joe Biden called voter a damn liar for bringing up Hunter's business dealings. Let's talk about this. A video clip from 2019 shows then candidate Joe 30330 lashing out at a voter for asking the president about his son's business dealings in, surprise, surprise, a little country that none of you never heard of. It's called Ukraine, so I wouldn't worry too much about it. Biden reacted by calling the voter a damn liar and fat. I remember that, and how the whole audience was booing him. I remember that too. The voter at the Iowa event had first questioned Biden about his health at the time, and then asked about Hunter Biden's dealings in Ukraine, a little country none of us ever heard of. Don't worry about it. Nothing big's happening there. So again, I find this funny that this random voter right here, this person asking legitimate questions, was talking about Biden and his health. It's not like a couple years later, Biden would be stumbling and falling and stuttering and stumbling and stuttering all around the country like a senile old man. Let's face it, stuttering and stumbling, that's who he is. So the voter said, you sent your son over there to get a job and work for a gas company. He had no experience with gas or nothing. Well, excuse me, voter. He knows a little thing about some gas, but it's not the legal kind. Biden responded, you're a damn liar, man. That's not true. Come on, Jack. The video has reemerged after Senator Chuck Grassley released internal documents from an FBI informant, which claims that Hunter Biden and his father were paid not one, not two, but 10 million in bribes by a Ukrainian oligarch for the purpose of facilitating Burisma business in the U.S. and Ukraine. The Burisma CEO, I'm going to probably get this name wrong, Miloka Zolowski, allegedly told the source it costs $5 million to pay one Biden, $5 million to another Biden. Well, gee, kind of narrows it down just a little bit, doesn't it? Let's have democracy in the chat. Type 1 if you think, Kit, this is all fake news. There's nothing suspicious about this at all. Type 2, no, this all adds up. And the Democrats and corporate media knew it, and they think that we weren't going to pay attention to it. Everything comes around, folks. Everything comes around. The questioning of Biden's health also appeared to get under his skin at the time. I'm not sedentary. I get up. I want to check my shape. You want to check my shape? On it, let's do push-ups together, man. Let's run. Let's do whatever you want, he told the voter back in 2019. You said I sent my son to work for on an oil company. Isn't that what you said? Get your words straight, Jack. Look, I'm not going to get an argument with you, man. But look, fat, here's the deal. Here's the deal, Jack. Biden's team leader said he did not call the man fat, but instead said facts. No, he said fat. He said fat. The voter interrupted Biden and said, it looks like you don't have any more backbone than Trump does, he told Biden, and he wouldn't be voting for him in the 2020 election. Biden came back and said, you're too old to vote for me. Jesus, that's rich coming from that senile old bat. But it's funny. It is rather funny. So here, let's see the video of Biden surrounded by vote blue no matter who sycophants as he is questioned.
And I can get things done. That's why I'm running. And you want to check my shape on, let's do push-ups together, man. Let's run. Let's do whatever you want to do.
Look at the little seals. Arp, 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 arp.
Number two. No one has said my son has done anything wrong, and I did not on any occasion. And no one has ever said it. Not
I
one.
didn't say you were doing anything wrong.
You said I set up my son to work in an oil company. Isn't that what you said? Get your words straight, Jack.
Well, gee, Biden, do you remember what you did, Jack? Because I don't think old man Biden remembers.
That's what I hear on MSNBC.
You don't hear that in MSNBC. You did not hear that. But you heard. Look, okay, I'm not going to get in an argument with you, man. Well, yeah, you do. But look, Fat, look, here's the deal.
Look, Fat. Hold on, just so y'all can hear it.
But look, Fat, look, here's the deal. Here's the deal.
It looks like you don't have any more backbone than Trump does.
Look at the sheep. They're upset that that one of their own is being called out.
Any other questions?
I'm not voting for you.
Well, I knew you weren't, man. You think I thought you'd stand up and vote for me? You're too old to vote for me.
Few years later, Joe Biden is a stuttering and stammering and, well, falling down senile old man. But here's a shocking segment from, of all places, CNN. There are legitimate questions about where Hunter Biden was getting his money from. After all, Hunter, let's face it, all them booger sugar evenings with company probably some of it being a legal company. That's as far as I can say on YouTube. There are some legitimate questions of how you were able to fund said party. Here, let's play it for the people.
Question. It's a political question, but what did you make hearing Kevin McCarthy?
Well, this is the power of the majority. This is why elections matter. If you control Congress, you can open an impeachment inquiry. Speaking of there not being a smoking gun, in any case, I've still not seen a smoking gun on this case. I think there are legitimate questions about where Hunter Biden was getting his money.
Now, of course, they're saying that there's no smoking gun. There's a lot of smoking things that could be used, that could be called out. Because, I mean, my goodness, all those imagery that you see on that dreaded laptop, Hunter had to get that money somewhere to fund those parties.
From clearly, he was only getting his money because his last name was Biden. But what's been missing is that definitive link
To the president.
to his father. And you know, I think it's an interesting political question. You both are the political experts, but how does that play to open an impeachment inquiry and potentially impeach this?
Not a legal question. It's a political question. But what did you make hearing Kevin McCarthy?
Well, this is the power of the majority. This is why elections matter. If you control Congress, you can open an impeachment inquiry. Speaking of there not being a smoking gun, in any case, I've still not seen a smoking gun on.
So we'll pause here because that video will keep on repeating itself. So I just want to bring in some sanity before we move into the, what the Republicans want to do, and that is potentially open up an impeachment trial for Joe Biden. So here, let's bring some sanity into this segment. Shout out to RBN's Nick. Anyone else confused when Biden voters accuse other people of being right wing? Like, bro, you voted for a racist segregationist who wrote the crime bill. Sit down. Absolutely, Nick. Well said indeed. And again, look, Biden has been in politics for decades. He is one of the many architects of this neoliberal nightmare that we are in. He is one of the many individuals that helped cause the pain that so many of us are dealing with. So I think it's fair to ask, well, what are Biden's connections to his son Hunter? Just if there are, what kind of legal documents are there? And of course, again, something that's pretty petty to really bring up, but look, I said that the Republicans were going to do this as soon as the Democrats get control of the White House, because the Democrats, AOC, and the squad and other vote blue, no matter who Democrats, were in a super fast rush to impeach Trump. Everyone was screaming from the rooftop during 2016 through 2020, impeachment. It was the word of the 4 years of Trump, impeachment. Well, now impeachment charges could potentially be on the table for Biden. And for that, all I can do is laugh. No, I will not stand in solidarity with Joe Biden or the Democrats. You fools did this to yourselves, and I will laugh.
Not only do they claim that they were bribed, we now find information that 16 out of 17 payments from Romania were provided to the Biden shell companies while he was vice president. When President Biden was running for office, he told the American public that he's never talked about business. He said his family has never received $1 from China, which we now proved is not true. We now have some of the most credible whistleblowers. These 10-year IRS agents who have come forward said that the Biden family has been treated differently, that what Weiss has told us is different than what Garland and Weiss has told the public. And you're sitting here today where now you have found millions of foreign money, just what the 1023 alleges they did to Biden's family. Now we found that it has funneled through shell companies. If you're sitting in our position today, we would know none of this if Republicans had not taken the majority. We've only followed where the information has taken us. But Hannity, this is rising to the level of impeachment inquiry, which provides Congress the strongest power to get the rest of the knowledge and information needed. Because this president has also used something we have not seen since Richard Nixon, used the weaponization of government to benefit his family and deny Congress the ability to have the oversight.
Also, it's important to note that this administration has been on a super fast rush of censorship. Remember, this is the same Joe Biden whose administration has allowed the intensification of further and further restriction of speech on Twitter, YouTube, apologies for that, YouTube, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, etc. And by the way, when the 2020 election was happening, there were government agencies interfering and roadblocking the release of the Hunter Biden laptop story. Twitter and Facebook complied. Corporate media complied because everyone wanted to get rid of Trump. And no, this isn't an endorsement of Trump, but I mean a story, a legitimate, truthful story, a factual story, was purposely and maliciously suppressed by the powers that be. Big tech, corporate media, the Democratic Party, the Biden-Harris campaign at the time. So let's pull up another video here real quick, just so all of you see what exactly is happening and why we should be concerned, why we should be a little bit upset. Exclusive. Hunter Biden's gallery sold his art to a Democratic donor friend who Joe Biden named to a prestigious commission, to which, hey, it's the U.S. press secretary.
Chairman James Comer today says that the Oversight Committee, has evidence that the president in the past communicated directly with foreign business associates of his son Hunter Biden many times. Curious if the White House and the president still stand behind his comment that he's never been involved and has never even spoken to his son about his business.
So I've been asked this question a million times. The answer is not going to change. The answer remains the same. The president was never in business with his son. I just don't have anything else to add.
Really? Here, let's pull up this video. This should entertain some of you.
Breaking today, Hunter's right-hand man, Devin Archer, we can now report, will testify, will give an interview, is the way to say this actually, from Capitol Hill 1 week from today. We just got the date on this very important moment in this story because, of course, Devin Archer knows all about the Biden family business because he was there. He was involved in nearly all of it. Here is Hunter Biden and Devin Archer playing golf with the then vice president. Lots of photos of.
Wow. It's not like there's more records showing that, well, maybe there were far more nefarious dealings than we knew of. 2014, I wonder, who was president during that time? Oh, yeah, a guy named Obama.
Of them with different business associates from some of these deals. Now, the president has repeatedly denied literally any connection or understanding at all about Hunter's, what some would call odd business dealings with Ukraine and Chinese executives. Archer can likely shed a lot of light on this situation and potentially blow the thing wide open through a source connected to him. He's saying that he wants to tell the truth. So Miranda Devine with a big report on this today in the New York Post, saying that he will testify and that he will put the vice president right in the middle of this, because he says that Hunter put then Vice President Dad Joe on the phone with business associates in front of him at least 24 times. He will testify, according to this report, that he watched that happen. He would put the speakerphone in the middle of the table at one of these meetings and connect the then vice president, according to this report, say, hey, this is Nikolai and Vadim, who, of course, is Laszewski, the head of Burisma and one of his top lieutenants. So this is a very big development.
It's suspicious. It's not like, of course, it's all intertwined and interconnected. So again, vote blue no matter who. Bernie, AOC, the squad, all of you who said that Biden is a decent, honorable man who will return the soul back to America. How you feeling now? See, you're probably feeling the same way, anger, resentment, just like how you were treating those Trump supporters. Because the thing is, there's a lot of legal documents that show that Joe Biden wasn't this friendly old grandpa that the corporate media made him out to be. He wasn't this outstanding steward and stoic individual who cared about the Republic. No, he only wanted to enrich himself like all these jagoff politicians, Democrat and Republican. So this whole idea in 2020 that Biden was the lesser of the two evils, yeah, Trump's bad. I get it. I get it. I don't want Trump to get elected in 2016. I don't want to see him get reelected in 2020. And no, I don't want to see him get reelected in 2024. But in comparison to Biden, see, Trump, before he became a politician, at least for 4 years, was a businessman, private citizen. Okay, hey, all of you, as was he, free to do what you want. But Joe Biden has been in politics for decades. He was on the wrong side of history for his entire political career, siding with corporations, siding with Wall Street. Hell, best friends and buddies with segregationists. Hey, Bernie, you know, during the civil rights movement, while you were getting arrested and manhandled by the police, Joe Biden was with the Republican segregationists. Joe Biden was laughing at you. And of course, with all these corporate dealings, it's finally being shown to the world, and to which I have to say, and I'm pretty sure if my colleague Daniel was here, hell, if Nico House was here, everyone from the Convo Couch was here, we would all be looking at the camera saying, we told you so. And it's rather hilarious to see it all fall apart.
Today, Karl Rove is standing by as politically in the mix here. RFK Jr., very interesting, because, of course, he's mounting a challenge to President Biden in this race. He came out with some very strong words about this investigation, saying this.
The issues that are now coming up are worrying enough that we really need a real investigation of what happened. I mean, you have Burisma, which is this notoriously corrupt company that paid out apparently $10 million to
All right, so let's go ahead and stop here. So what can we take away from all of this? First of all, we understand the aspect that all these politicians are corrupt. And this is finally going to, once again, divide the country. But see, the thing is, the Democrats set the precedent of this division. The Democrats were the ones that allowed this to take place. The Democrats are the ones that said that this is A-okay to have impeachment after impeachment towards Donald Trump. And I have to say again, are you not surprised the Republicans won't do the same? And all these documents that are being released, as well as the Hunter Biden laptop story that is being finally acknowledged for the truth that it is, because it is the truth. This could systematically damage the Democrats as 2024 gets closer and closer. Now, if I was part of the Trump campaign, this is plenty of political ammunition to use against Joe Biden. For some reason, he was lackluster and mediocre in 2020. And hey, that's being honest. I was rather surprised how tame his 2020 campaign was. But also on a side note, especially to Dr. Cornel West of the Green Party. And yes, RFK Jr. Now's not the time to call your friend Joe Biden, your buddy, your pal, or brother Biden, or anything of that nature, or friend of the family. You want to win, you got to strike at the jugular. You want to win, now's the time to hit him. You want to win and be taken seriously and improve your poll numbers, now's the time to strike. Biden's poll numbers are abysmal. His vice president, Kamala Harris, those numbers are even lower. Now is the time to fight back. If you don't fight, you get walked all over. If you don't fight, then people won't respect you. If you don't fight, then why are you running? And a side note too, Democrats, if this is your dog that you want in the race, I don't want to see any goddamn protests. If Trump were to get reelected, I don't want to see any of these activists blocking the road saying, Trump's so corrupt, Trump's this, but you're not going to say anything towards Joe Biden. I know many of you are fat off a brunch, but maybe put down the mimosa. Quit eating all that crap. Wake up and realize that both parties are corrupt. And Joe Biden is the architect of the neoliberal nightmare we are in. I can't wait to see how this 2024 convention in Chicago will play out. Stay tuned to Hard Lens Media.